Hey, you guys, welcome to this episode of The Rachel Cruze Show. So today I'm going to be looking at a video that has gone viral about how you can actually buy happiness. That's right. YouTuber Joshua Becker is claiming that he has data to prove that it is possible. So I don't know about you. When I saw that, I was very curious. So I wanted just to dive right in. So about a year ago, Joshua Becker, a minimalism expert and host of a YouTube channel, Becoming Minimalist, shared a video on 3 ways to buy happiness according to research done by Harvard Business School. So the video went out, it's gotten over 1 million views. And again, people are fascinated by the subject because you hear money doesn't buy happiness. Money doesn't buy happiness. And there's a part of me that I'm like, it's true. Like you can just buy a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't truly fulfill you. So when I saw this come up, I was like, okay, I'm curious how he breaks this down. So what does he say in the video? Well, first, he claims that buying experiences will bring you happiness, particularly if it's a shared experience with others. So he talks about that the research shows that sharing experiences with others brings more lasting happiness than physical possessions. Fascinating. Because when I wrote the book, Know Yourself, Know Your Money, people tend to spend their money on actual things or experiences. You kind of lean one way or the other. And I never wanted to put like a moral code to it, right? To say that if you're this one, you're right or wrong. It's just kind of your tendency. But always that medium is ideal to be in, not one extreme or the other. Because I do think that buying things that improve your life is not a bad way to spend money. But I personally do love experiences. I love going out to a nice dinner or going on a vacation, all of that. So I do tend to lean towards enjoying life more when it's an experience versus an actual thing. But I also found that there was an article in Forbes detailing why travel, aka a purchased experience, can actually lower your risk of depression and rewire your brain. I don't know, but maybe. So I can see this though. And especially I love that they had kind of the asterisk that when you have a shared experience with people that you love, there is a connection point there. Dr. Les Parrott used to talk about this a lot when we were doing an event together a few years ago, because he said, when you go on a date night, don't just go to dinner or go see a movie, do kind of the normal things that you guys just normally do. Go do an experience, go and do a trapeze class or an obstacle course. Go do something kind of crazy, because the levity that it brings and the laughter and the fun and that shared unique experience does bring a connection to you. So the one thing I would say though is that we can get caught up in that and think, okay, that means I need to go on an amazing vacation with all my friends and we gotta go just blow it out and it's gonna be great. Let's go, to the Caribbean and all this stuff. And you can buy into that even if you don't have the money. And even if it's on the budget and you end up overspending and stressing yourself out even more on that experience if you're not wise about it. So the experience doesn't have to be lavish, I don't think. I think it could be actually really inexpensive. But the point there is, though, that you're doing life with people. And Dr. John Deloney talks about loneliness so much and how so much of people's relationship status with other friends, within friendships has gone down over the years. And so connecting with people, I think, is the key here. And through experiences, I get that. So I understand. I just don't want us to be crazy with it. So I agree, Joshua. I agree. Or Harvard Business School. You're doing all the right things, but this economy is busting your budget. Did you know there's a budget-friendly solution to rising healthcare costs? There is, and it's through Christian Healthcare Ministries, America's longest-serving health cost-sharing ministry. Visit chministries.org/Rachel to learn more. All right, the next one, he said, again, according to Harvard Business Study, is that people who spent money on others reported greater happiness. And in contrast, the amount of money people spent on themselves was unrelated to happiness. So Joshua calls this pro-social spending, and what I basically call it is giving, you're giving to others. And I do agree with this. There is something that releases inside of you when you give money. And whether it's to an individual or an organization that you're really passionate about, there is something about a selflessness inside of you that comes out when you choose to give. And that joy that you get is different than a joy that you have when you go buy a new pair of jeans or something. There is something so different. And so the effects of giving, you guys, it's not just in your head. I mean, it truly is a real thing. It is something that triggers a release of dopamine in your brain that makes you feel happy. I mean, there is all of this, that's going on inside of you that is really, really true. And so again, you can do small things. Again, whether it's, paying for someone's meal or someone's coffee, but you can start to practice with these little acts of giving and start associating that joy and that happiness with what it is. It's that action. And the Cleveland Clinic notes that these health benefits may actually lower blood pressure, increase self-esteem, lower stress levels, and even a longer life. So there you go, you guys. You get back your time and your life by giving, and I love that. It's so true. All right, so the last way to buy happiness that Jacob talks about is buying back your time. So what does this mean? Well, think about things like hiring someone to mow your grass or maybe deliver your groceries, or maybe you move closer to work so your commute time is less. And the Harvard Business School found that happiness is not just purchasing positive experiences like travel, but also purchasing the removal of negative experiences. So getting your time back actually can bring a level of happiness to you. And I think that's true too. I mean, I really am about this. So much of people's spending these days and the way they want to create their life is around convenience. And this idea that I want my time back. Time is such a precious commodity that you don't get back. So I know for me, this is huge. When you are able to have more time in your life, it is nice to spend money to get that back. So whether, again, it's me not having to go to Costco every Saturday and I get it delivered to the house, or when we moved to our new house, Winston sold his lawnmower. And so instead of every Sunday, he would go out and mow the lawn. And when we moved, we hired someone to do that. And I know, again, this takes money and your budget, and you have to have margin to be able to do these things. But for some people, and again, according to the study, that they would cut other things in their life in order to bring in these kind of, services, you could say, so that they don't have to do those things, so that they have their time back to them. So again, buying back time, I would think does bring a level of happiness. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. So that's so all of it, that whole study is so fascinating because I think we equate so often that your money cannot buy happiness. But as we just saw, there's 3 examples of it. And I think that there can be some skewed versions of these things. I don't think it is going to automatically bring you happiness. I think if you do all of these things, you could have other things in your life that are really crappy and that you're like, oh yeah, I have bad habits here, here, and here, and I'm not happy, right? So we have to be careful to pigeonhole it, but I could see how it brings a greater sense of joy in life when you experience things with others, when you're giving back, and when you get your time back. Overall, I get that, absolutely. So it's kind of good news, when you read it, because I think all those things doesn't mean that you have to have a huge income or a huge budget or lots of money to be able to do them. I think you can experience levels of all of these, maybe in smaller ways versus bigger ways, to experience that level of happiness. So very fascinating. Thanks, Harvard Business School, for just doing some research. Okay, so I want you to send this video to a friend who loves learning about how to create a happy and a whole life. If that's a conversation you've had with someone recently, make sure to send them this video. Maybe you can give them some other ideas. And remember, to all you guys, to take control of your money and create a life you love.